We're live.
We're live. Awesome. So I had to do my live on the phone today because I'm having trouble with passwords on my laptop. I am just like the worst person with passwords. I change it, I write it down, then I change it again. Maybe I write it down, but not in the right place. And it's just a hot mess always. So I had to do my live on the phone today. So hopefully that'll be okay and I'll be able to see everybody's comments and stuff. So I'm going to try to start doing gardening tips. I just kind of like started. So one of my first gardening tips was just, if something doesn't pop up within its allotted time, just put some more seed in there.
That's right.
And try not to, unless it's like your favorite thing, try not to plant all of your seed. Try to save some of it. In case you're a rogue planter like me and you planted too early, save some in case the soil wasn't warm enough. You can plant some more later. So that's one of them.
Fancy gardening is in here.
Yes, and she is going to be the guest for next week.
Oh, how fun. How fun.
Yeah, I looked and I already had it scheduled. And then I think I have somebody back, another one coming after that, but I'm going to have to look back at my email. I think I know who it is, but I have to make sure I got my dates right.
I understand that.
Hi, sis.
Yes. Oh, good. Freehandly made. Hey, Niecy.
You want to say hi to your sister?
Hey, Brad.
He's talking to Freehandly Made.
I was going to say, well, hello.
Yeah, he's not calling you a brat. He's calling Freehandly Made.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yes. Well, Gail, I have shared this story a few times. When I first started gardening, I thought you were supposed to, and this has only been like 3 or 4 years ago. I thought you were supposed to plant every seed in the packet. I mean, why not? The seeds won't be any good next year, which is not true either.
Yes,
so I had dozens and dozens and dozens of tomato plants. That's
how that happened. Let me welcome in Simply Jan Homestead, BNC Gardening and Experiments, Swoop Like Me, Freehandly Made, and anybody else who's in Corner Clubhouse Cobalt, and anybody else who's in here hadn't said hi yet. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So we have Anne Dale Homestead on with me. She's been on with me before. I kind of came into her channel when she was still pretty small, and she's blown up past me at this point, which I knew was going to happen, but with that voice. But anyway, so I asked her if she would come back on and just talk about some gardening. Hello, Canadian family life. And that seems to be the subject. On my mind right now, just trying to get everything out. But yeah, I'm trying, unless the only thing I planted all of was all my zucchini. I had 2 packs of zucchini, but that's my favorite thing. So I planted all of them because I wanted just as many plants as I could get. So I wrote down just a few things we could talk about, and you guys are also welcome to ask questions in the chat. Were you saying something?
That's terrific. No, you be it in Texas and me be it in northeastern North Carolina, we're several weeks behind you because we still had a frost last week. And I put out some banana trees that had been given to me, and the frost got one of them. So I'm going to have to chop it down and start it over. They're in pots, but still, so we really haven't gotten very much in the ground at all.
Yeah. I'm kind of a rogue planter. I kind of planted about 3 or 4 weeks before the last frost date. And that's also why I give the advice not to plant all of it, because if you plant some things too early, the soil is not warm enough. And so it won't. But then I feel like if I wait till the very last frost date, then it seems like people in my same zone are way ahead of me. So I said, I'm just going to try 3 weeks, and then I try to plant more. But also one of the pieces of advice, if it doesn't come up in that allotted time, put another seed in there.
That's
Wait
right.
a while. If that one doesn't, I mean, but you got to, if you're in the same seed pack and that seed's few years old, it could be the seed is not good anymore.
It could be. It could
Could be.
be. That's right. That's right.
I tested out a pumpkin seed under the grow light that I had harvested myself, and that silly thing actually came up. So I went ahead and transplanted it outside, even though that's the only thing I'm really waiting on is I'm going to try to plant pumpkin in May or June so it comes out at the right time possibly. And I have had luck with pumpkin, but not every single year. It's kind of one of those things, but
Yeah. Well, I admire you for getting your zucchini and squash. We have planted zucchini and squash, yellow crookneck or yellow straight neck, whatever happens to be out at the time. But we've planted those every year and have not had luck, man. The squash bugs come and take them out, just take them out. So
yeah,
we're
and that's
trying.
one thing we want to talk about pests
Yeah.
is one of the things. But the first thing I had on the list to talk about was companion planting. And I'll tell you first that there's really only two things I do, and then we'll ask Anne what she has for advice there. I always plant marigolds with squash. And I put out a lot of marigolds. Matter of fact, I even did some under the grow light so I would have some already up before I put in the squash. So I transplanted those three, actually four, because one was tiny, into the squash bed. And then also in the tomato bed, I put basil. And that's supposed to help with certain bugs and stuff like that. So those are my two things I do for companion planting. What about you, Anne Dale?
Well, marigolds, yes. Basil, yes. I have also planted onions and garlic, even though garlic takes forever. It takes like 9 months for a garlic to bulb and you be able to harvest it. You can put garlic in between them, and then what I do is we harvest the greens off of them. I take the greens off of them and dehydrate them and then use it as garlic spices, those kinds of things, which is because of that yummy homemade ranch dressing that you made. I've been able to do that with some things from the garden, and that's one of them.
Recipe for the homemade ranch.
I
Well, I'm
did.
hoping to have a lot of dill this year. Last time when I did that recipe, I did it with store-bought dill. I'm hoping to do it again with some homemade dill this year. And I know I have some coming up because I know what it looks like. So this is my second year on dill, and I got it up. So if you don't succeed the first year, try again with things because
Absolutely.
plant them in different containers, different places in your yard, and that changes things about it. Hello, Nancy, with Our Treasured Home. And so, yeah, success with dill. So that's awesome.
That's fantastic. I have not had luck growing dill from seed. I've tried a number of times. I get a few little scriggly sprouts and then they shrivel up and go away. So,
You know, it's funny, the ground wasn't particularly special. It had maybe a few amendments put on it, but it really wasn't all that special. It's I don't really know. It
well,
might have had a little chicken manure, from back
oh,
in
yeah.
fall. Like when I gave up on my garden last year, I started going ahead and amending it for this year. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to have a good year because I started in the fall when everybody else was putting in their garden. I was starting to amend to hope for a good spring.
Yes,
So
yes,
I've
that's
been
awesome.
working on it.
Yeah, we just uncovered a section. We're still uncovering the garden and getting ready to have it prepared. We've put amendments in there already, had it covered in leaf mulch and so forth. And as I was digging through yesterday, getting some of the weeds away and getting it uncovered, I grabbed it and grabbed two inadvertently slugs with all their slime. They got all over my hands. That was so gross. And by the way, if you pick up a slug and you get slug slime on your fingers, salt is really good to get it off with. So you just Pour salt all on it, rub it up,
I
and then
really
it goes.
don't have to find that out, but thank you for the pointer.
It's
Ooh.
gross. It's so
My husband's
disgusting.
making a face over here too. He heard you say that. What are you planning on planting this year?
Well, we are hopefully going to have the typicals. We're going to have tomatoes and cucumbers, squash and zucchini. We want green beans. This time, I haven't had much luck growing peas because the peas I was growing were more like bush peas, and so I want to grow pole peas this time, and hopefully. But you got to grow a lot of peas to be able to make a meal. Much less.
That's why I stopped growing beans. It takes up a lot of space. You
Yeah.
usually have to grow it straight into the ground.
Yeah.
And so I just don't like doing that much weeding.
Well, we use
Yeah.
that ground cover that you don't like, but we do use the ground cover material and the cloth, and that really does help a lot for us that I don't have to weed so much. And snap beans, we haven't had a problem. We get harvest after harvest of them, but peas have been a serious issue.
So I'm on my third year for loofah. The first year the trellis got blown out.
Oh.
The second year they got attacked by fire ants, but I got way up on the fire ants and I've been fighting them for a long time, like way ahead. There's none of those big, huge places because I kept pouring boiling water on them.
Okay.
But you can't do that. You can't do that when you have a plant. You have to do
Right.
all that before you start planting.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you see a place, front yard, backyard, gardening side or chicken side, it didn't matter. Wherever I saw an ant pile, I was pouring boiling water on it. And now they're still little ones. I still find some places, but I've been accurately, on those. So that
Right.
seems to be my problem every year.
Well, I have heard a solution on those fire ants that several people have done, and it seems to work, is if you've got two different mounds in two different areas of your yard, which this is pretty brave because those little suckers are really fast. You take a shovel of the den of one and put it on the other and saying vice versa, and they fight to the death. They kill each other. Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
I was reaching into a pine mulch bag that had been sitting outside for a while. And I kind of checked it real quickly for ants. I didn't see anything. So I just proceeded to keep going. Well, they proceeded to bite me on my left hand.
No.
I had 12 ant bites all through my hand. It felt like my hand just lit up with fire.
I bet.
And I was just like, and then it finally went away. And of course I had all those spots on the front, back, and side and inside my finger. I mean, I counted them out though. There was 12.
Those things blister and get infection inside and everything.
What I say to that is don't put your soil bags and your pine mulch bags outside. Put them in your shed or in your utility room or your mud room, because they will crawl up in there, and then you go to get it and all of a sudden, bam, that's bad. But
we had, I just uncovered another bed that has been a flower bed most of the years in the past. It's an old stump that I had surrounded in barrier grass. Hey, Red Road Homestead.
Hi, Lena.
And when I took the leaves off of it, because that's what we do during the winters, we have so many leaves, we protect our growing areas, and it came alive. There were flying red ants. Like the whole thing was one big ant pile. Mm-hmm. We sprinkled some lime on there, and then I sprinkled some edibles and vegetable safe DE, diatomaceous earth. There's not an ant in there anywhere. I'm shocked and thrilled, and that's going to be my herb garden this year. Yeah,
this year. I'm just trying everything I can come up with or find. So my trouble plants have been loofah, and ground cherries. Ground cherries seem to be so sensitive. So I'm on my second year with ground cherries and my third year for loofah.
I've never
And then
grown either one of them, but I have some loofah seeds this time. I thought about trying because, those vines go everywhere. I
yeah,
thought about trying to plant one on the corner of my front porch and have
uh-huh.
the vine come up and go over the front porch. Wouldn't that be pretty? I thought that would
That
be.
would be neat. I had a lot of trouble keeping the weeds out of them last year. So I decided this year to plant them in one of those like 11-gallon totes.
Uh-huh.
So I've got 2 for loofah, and then right next to them, 2 for pickling cucumber. Then I have some flowering flowers that vine too. So I have all the vining things in containers growing up onto a trellis that my husband built. So I have all that set up a long time ago. Like I said, back in the fall, when
Yeah.
everybody was in the fall garden, I was planning and plotting. And so I've invested a lot of time and planning and
Yeah. My new
you
mantra this year that I'm trying to say about most things is you work like a hunter, but think like a farmer. So that's what you've done. You've been thinking like a farmer and planning ahead, realizing the crops that you're going to have for this year or next year or whatever, and being able to work like a hunter because you've went ahead and put it into motion. That's wonderful. Loofah makes a great shade canopy for the garden. Oh, yeah. I would love to be able to have one of those
that would be a lot of work.
animals. Yeah, I'd
People
love to have that, but my husband is not into that at all. He doesn't see the value that I see in it.
Yeah. Well, this year I got some elderberry seeds from the IBG 2003 seed swap that Indiana Backyard Gardener did.
Yes.
So I made a little video asking if that was it coming up, and no one's confirming that. So I'm thinking it's not up yet. But I
Okay.
have a little space that's kind of a small raised bed area that I thought they could grow there, and they're kind of confined because, it has the wood around it. So I'm going to try to grow them there, and there would be enough to like bush out 2 right next to each other,
Well,
right there.
I've never seen anybody grow one from seed. I mean, I'm sure you can. I've got
Yeah,
some elderberry tree cuttings, and remember that those things grow really fast and they grow up into big trees really fast. So you have to keep them trimmed back.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that. I also planted some hollyhock, but I did that on the fence line way back away from everything else, so it would have room because I heard it spreads. It's like
Yeah.
invasive, but it's really pretty. I looked at the pictures of it last year. There's red ones and yellow ones and pink ones,
Yeah.
and they look really cool. So we mapped out a little spot for it yesterday, and hopefully we'll get that.
Oh,
But I had those seeds a couple of years, so I don't know if they'll work, but I thought I would give it a try. It's like plant it or whatever, but I don't like to throw it away. So I wanted
right.
to.
You
I
got
like
to
to
give it a try.
yeah. So I gave it a try. I put it in the ground. We'll see what happens.
There you go. You're so adventuresome this year. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, we just did the Hollyhock. Was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday afternoon. I asked him to pull out the tiller and till an area there for me. So
Good for you. You can pop
that
up
was a
comments
budget
on your
cover.
phone. I can't seem to do that on my
Yeah, all I did was hit it. I was like, well, hopefully it works the same as laptop.
phone.
Loofah grows sponge inside. Yeah, my sister didn't even know that loofah was like a real thing. I sent her pictures
Yeah.
of the loofah and pictures of it when it's inside the thing, and she's like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Yep, that exists."
Yeah, they're so fun. And my aunt grows gourds. I really want to try those too.
Yeah, Mom and I both buy pumpkins and pretty gourds around the fall time. So what I started to do was I made a little wild garden in the back of the yard, and by wild I mean everything out there vines.
Okay.
And so I had these green bumpy gourds that were like this size last year that came from letting the gourd die right there on the ground. The pumpkins and the gourds died there. And one of the gourds in the fall, after I'd given up on everything because of the hail and everything that happened last year, it came up on its own all of a sudden, and I just started watering it. And before you know it, I had about 13 gourds. And so I left them on the porch for a while. It was kind of late in the year. So I took all those because it was too late in the year to really give them to anybody, So I just took all those and I put them back in the garden. I placed them all in different places. And I've also put pumpkin and watermelon and cantaloupe up there. And it's literally, if everything goes, it's literally going to be
you're going to have a massive vine.
That's a massive, crazy place out there. And I haven't even started the pumpkin.
Yes,
but by the time I do that, I should know where all the other things are kind of growing, and I can kind of just pick a little available space. And what it is it's almost like a circle. And then what it'll do is it'll grow outside the circle onto the it'll vine out that way. But I can water it in that circle, and then it'll vine out. And that's what happened with the gourd last year. It did that. So last year's pumpkins that we bought, those just died in the ground. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
The only thing bad about that is that the seeds are in a clump. That's the only thing bad about the seeds are in a clump. So it comes up a bunch together, and then they fight. They fight for strongest.
The strongest shall survive.
The strongest plant will survive. What is one of your favorite things to grow? Mine is zucchini. Probably second would be tomato.
Yeah, tomatoes, of course, is my very favorite thing to grow.
That's what I was going to say too. I actually looked at the picture I picked, and I picked a tomato picture, and it was just like the picture I picked a year ago. Yes. But then I saw that, and I made up a special little thumbnail to go over that. And I don't know if it shows everywhere, but you saw it because you commented.
Yeah, tomatoes, and my second favorite, just because it's so fast, are snap beans, green snap beans, because they come up so quickly and produce so quickly that it's like, wow, this is super cool. You get food right away. So
yeah, that's neat.
Very little baby.
Have you had any pests show up in your garden yet?
Well, apparently I have some slugs out there ready to go to work. But no, because we don't have any plants in the ground yet.
Hello, Diversity Helper. How are you?
Yes.
So
let's see, we have a couple more people in here. I'm not sure that you
got hello, Ariella, Viking, Venture, and Victuals. And then the budget picture, I did say hi to them.
The budget preppers.
The budget preppers, welcome in.
Yay. I'm glad to see you all.
Pepper. Hi, Pepper. So anyway, I've been watching the video, some videos from Nicole Smith Gardening. And she's been putting out seeds and stuff. She'll come home from work every day and spend another hour or two in the garden.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of soaking of her seeds, which I've never done. But anyway, she's got me terrified that I'm going to get vine borers. So I'm out there and I'm looking at the bottom of my brand new little zucchini plants, and I'm trying to see, but I don't have good vision if there's actually any on there. So
it's when you see butterflies. If you see a butterfly, that's what they're doing. They're laying their eggs for the vine borers. And it is miserable because I like butterflies, but I don't like them when they're flying around my garden. And it's just, we just have vine borers. It just is. And if we're not going to use chemicals, then we just have to deal with it. I mean, there have been times when it got to the point where either the bugs are going to eat them or we're going to eat them. And so we had to use some light chemicals. But
yeah. So the solution I found when I started reading was this little yellow bowl right here. Oh. So you fill your yellow bowls. They're attracted to yellow because it looks like yellow squash. So you fill your yellow bowl with water. Now, this is me just trying this, okay? Because I'm paranoid because of Nicole that I'm going to get them. That's what that is, right? And it could be. because she's in Texas as well. So
Okay.
I went ahead and I filled one before church this morning with the soapy water, and I came back from church and it had black bugs in it, probably 10 or 12. So then I filled another one, right? And that one already has some in it. And this is the third one. I'm going to put this one out too. But I have another area that has squash. I have zucchinis all in one row, but there's another area that has acorn squash, butternut squash, and yellow squash.
Awesome.
So I'm going to put one of these bowls over there too.
Okay.
So,
Well,
it already,
they sell those yellow glue strips for bugs that are supposed to help you with that kind of stuff. But that is a great idea to use yellow bowls. I like that.
Yep. So I don't know. I think these were from Dollar General, but I think Walmart has some too. I think these were like four for $1 at Dollar General or something. I had them for something else.
Okay,
but I remember that I had them. I was using them for something else. They're not real heavy or anything, but just to sit out there and collect bugs, they're plenty heavy enough for that. So
I wonder, I mean, they do have the solo cups and bowls and and sometimes they have some yellow ones. I wonder if you could use those.
Yes, you could. You could. Yeah, it'd be taller. But you want them to see the yellow, because I actually thought about burying it a little and thought, well, no, that kind of defeats the purpose. They're supposed to see the yellow. So, but yeah, I started collecting bugs. So if you think you might have something, try that. I don't know if it works for squash bugs too, because I was reading specifically about the vine borers.
Okay.
But I could swear I saw one out there, but I could be wrong. I mean, I have no experience. I've just been listening to her, and I wanted to just be on top of it, because my zucchini is tiny. You could barely even see a little. They're basically leaves, right? They're basically just the leaves right now. So I just want to make sure that but I told Anne Dale that I was going to get a prop earlier, and I showed her, and she's looking at me like, what? But anyway, that's
a yellow bowl. That's nice, Gail.
Oh yeah. Well, I read about it.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea. So I mean, that's very ingenious. And there were several people in the chat said, "Hey, I'm gonna try that. That's a great idea."
Yeah. So that's my garden tip. I probably will go ahead and do a video about it for you guys that aren't in the chat. For the people who aren't in the chat, that was going to be my gardening tip that I was going to share. I actually just read it on Google, so I was just trying to see the pictures of the vine borer, and I came up with the solutions.
That's good.
And I try to do non-chemical solutions as I can.
Yes.
So
I mean, we all try that, but sometimes when it comes down to it, it's me or them. And I try to never use it, but I won't say never. But I do have a little gardening tip also when you're planting in between your plants. Whenever we use onions or cut up onions or have onions for dinner, I save the bottom portion, the root portion. And you've got a top to an onion, and then you've got the bottom, the root, and you're going to slice it up. You have that root section. I take that, and all you have to do is take it out there anywhere. I'm telling you, it's so easy. But if you're planting onions in between your crops to try to keep bugs away, stick it underneath the soil. Just cover it, just barely cover it by the soil, and it sprouts onion greens, just greens, green onions. And it does it in just like a day or two. It's really quickly. And it's really helpful. And then, you've reduced, reused, and recycled, as they say.
I'm doing this with yellow onion or green onion or white onion. Like, what kind of onion are you using?
Well, red onion and white onion. Now we have Vidalia onion that I purchased at the grocery store, or red onion that we've grown here. And but honestly, the root section, you're not going to get more onion bulbs, but you get onion greenery and the scent. And the scent is what you want for companion planting anyway. But we go and I cut down the greens again. I keep cutting down the greens, and I'll dehydrate them and use that for onion powder. Now, they grow right back. I mean, it's super easy and free.
Right? Like lettuce and stuff.
Yeah.
I was so excited because last week was the first time I went out and I actually got to cut off lettuce.
Oh,
I didn't know what kind of lettuce I wanted, so I actually mixed 3 different ones together.
yeah.
And so it's like green and a little purple and a darker green, a lighter green, and I think there was even some collards in there too, and maybe some
Awesome.
arugula. And all that was growing in my raised planter, and I just mixed up some of that. And I had some spinach inside the house, and of course I had to use a store-bought tomato because I don't have tomatoes
Yeah.
up yet. And I made this our first salad of the year, so I was so excited about that.
There's no better feeling, man, than to walk out your back door and bring in your groceries. It just is not a better feeling.
Yeah.
Oh.
She, let's see. Oh, Simply Jan said she battles with those zucchini bugs. The best
Yeah.
thing I ever do is just those marigolds. Try to get your marigolds up. If you don't have any up, at least go to the, local place and grab you some that are already going a little bit. That's why I did
Yeah.
mine under the grow light because I wanted them already up. But I have pots
Mhm.
of marigolds everywhere.
I
And
need to plant
lots
some
of
more.
flowers.
Yeah.
Lots of flowers.
I bought some starts. I bought some marigold starts. I bought some marigold flowers that are up. You get a 6-pack for $2.39 or something like that.
That's
And
cool.
I bought some. And usually when I purchase them, I also put some seeds in some dirt so that if one dies or one fails, that I've got a backup kind of thing. So
Yeah, I have them in. I had some under a grow light, but I also had some in a pot outside. And I
there
was
you
like, wow,
go.
I'm going pretty much every flower seed I had, I planted. The only thing I
Oh,
planted all of was the cardinal climbers because I only have a limited amount of trellis space.
yeah.
Yeah, I planted out all the flowers, so it should be if nothing else, I'll have the most beautiful flowers. If nothing else.
And
It'll be like,
Red Road says they've got marigolds coming up now and zinnias, and Simply Jan says she has a bunch of marigolds. I just
yeah,
think that's fantastic.
yeah, the ones under the grow light are the first ones that are actually starting to show color. And they're kind of like one is kind of orange with a dark color, and one is kind of almost that reddish color with a dark color.
Mhm.
So but I have every variety of marigold you can imagine.
That's
And
beautiful.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see all the flowers. And Anne Dale and I were talking earlier about buying starts is okay too.
Yes, it
I
is.
bought cayenne pepper, jalapeno pepper, and some moss rose flowers already started from our local store.
Yeah,
Everything else is from seed, and I might buy more later. We'll see.
that's right.
You never
Well,
know.
I mean, granted, it is important that we do know, hey, the fitness hutch. Hey, the fitness hutch. It's
Right.
important that we know how to grow from seed. It is important because there may be a time where we're not going to be able to go to the store and buy some starts. You got to know how to grow it yourself. But
Right.
you, this is the ongoing discussion of if you're a true gardener, if you buy starts, you are a true gardener. There's nothing wrong with it going out there and getting some things to go in your garden. You're still going to have to be the caregiver and the caretaker and the harvester and so forth. And um, we have bought starts a number of times, and it's very fulfilling, I guess is the word. But I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you feel if you're a real gardener and you buy starts?
Still, it still takes work to get them. You still have to put them in good soil. You still have to
Yes.
water them and harvest them and fuss over the bugs and the pests over them and everything. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's good
Well,
too. I mean,
the
you
starts
know
that
how
we
to you
get,
know how to grow it from seed, but I do have a little. I admit I have a little trouble with peppers sometimes.
oh, me too. Gosh. Yeah,
I
I
have
have
them in 2 different places this year. I'm going to conquer peppers.
good. Well, I have purchased some pepper starts this year already because I
Yeah, I
planted
did.
several pepper seeds, and I don't know if my package is not good or what, but yeah. And so I just what we do is, and I mean,
I
I have purchased from the local big box stores, but what we try to do mostly is purchase from our local nursery. The guy that runs it grew up with my husband, the whole family. They grew up in the neighborhood. And yeah, Jen, you buy some from the Amish, that's awesome. And
yeah,
so that's what we do. We go to Art at Halsey's Garden Shop, and he will have, a tray of starts, and they're everywhere, and you can buy as many as you want, and they're 15 cents a piece. Well,
wow.
I can't grow them for 15 cents a piece. And then, I'm a step ahead. So we love
Yeah.
supporting them as well, and supporting a
Yeah.
local business.
Yeah, Blackberry Rock Homestead is actually selling some of her starts that she's doing. I
Oh,
thought that was really cool that
mm,
she's doing.
bless you too, the Rusty Pepper.
I
And
hope
how's
you're
she doing? Is she doing all right? Do you get a chance to talk to her much? I haven't seen her in a
doing
while.
good. Lately, I haven't talked to her. She came up on a live about maybe a month ago, possibly.
Okay. Yep, the Fitness Hut, same here. He says planning, or they say planning in the UK can be a nightmare because of the weather. It's so unpredictable. It can warm right up, and then all of a sudden you get a frost. It's the same here in North Carolina. We had 80 degrees. We had nighttime temperatures of 60 degrees. And then last Thursday, there was a frost, and it killed some things. So we have to be careful as well. Usually by the end of April, we're pretty secure, unless you have some cold tolerant plants like cabbage or collards or something like that. But there's some things, Gail, that here in North Carolina, and I don't know if I would think you would have the same issue with weather. The Stock Explorer, hey Nora, um, when we have decided this spring that we're not going to plant collards or cabbage or things like that because it's a short season. We kind of go from spring or winter to hot in the middle summer kind of thing. And so, everything bolts, and it's not. You're having a frost next week, Jan?
Wow. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard Luann from Blackberry Rock Homestead said the same thing. If you guys have the ability to share on your community tab, if you would do that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
terrific.
I've heard that. Some other people having frost. I'm kind
Yeah.
of rogue. Planted a few weeks before my last frost date because I wanted to try to get a jump on it. So I'm impatient. I'm so impatient.
I think
But
that's
I
fantastic.
was able to trade off, The
Yeah.
only thing that really died, that one little quick frost we had after I planted, it killed a few volunteers in the wild garden, which I'm
Okay.
not worried about because that area is, I didn't cover that because that area is, volunteer wild stuff anyway. So
Yeah. Well, I watch a woman. Her name is Linda, but she's T-Nog from the New Orleans Gardener, and she does get her solace when she's out in the garden, but she inspects it every single day, and she remembers every leaf on every plant, and she looks for signs of any kind of bugs or any kind of worms or any kind of anything. So if she sees anything that is out of place, she goes in and starts digging, and she finds that vermin and gets rid of it right off the bat. I thought, God,
sounds just like Nicole Smith gardening. She's doing the same thing, and she was just so mad in the video. I mean, it was like catchy because I was out in the garden inspecting, going, "Wait, is that a speck on the bottom of my leaf?" And I don't know if I was being paranoid or if there really was. But I
yeah,
was watching her, and it got me so freaked out that I started putting yellow bowls in my
yellow
garden.
balls all over the place.
I
But
probably
hey,
look like a crazy person putting yellow bowls out in my garden, but
it'll be colorful and fun. It'll be
yeah,
colorful.
it's colorful.
I saw a woman one
Yeah.
time in her garden where she had all the stakes that she had staked for her peppers, and for her tomato plants. On the top of the stakes, she had different colored balls by, I don't know how they were like just plastic balls, but she had different colored balls on all her stakes. Her garden was adorable because it had all those colors out there. It was like a little
Yeah.
sprinkle of flowers everywhere. So your yellow
I,
bowls are going to be great.
I try to buy different colors of pots just to be kind of interesting. So if you'll talk just for a second, I have to run and go get something real quick.
Absolutely. So I am so glad to see everyone here, our treasured home. We're too cold. You're going to get a cold spurt Monday and Tuesday, Nancy, from our treasured home. I have row cover, and hopefully that'll work, Jan says. Oh, and you shared in your Discord. Thank you, the Fitness Hutch. And hopefully that'll work, B&G Gardening says. Yeah, I hope so too. What you got, girlie?
Well, I tried to make a video, and I was going to try to give these hyacinth seeds away, and they are a vine. I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but they have the prettiest leaves.
Yes.
And they put out these purple beans, dark colored purple beans. They have about 5 to 6 beans inside of them, and that is the seed. And then it puts off this pretty lavender flower, and it grows up on a trellis or something. It's really, really, and it'll drop its own seed if you don't harvest it, and it'll come back next year too, if it drops the seed. So my mom gave me some of these, and I've tried 2 years to grow these, and I've been having the hardest time. So she gave me quite a few of them this year, and I've already planted some. I already have some up, and I wanted to give some away to somebody in the church.
Oh, how fun! It's all about supporting each other. The Fitness Hutch.
But whoever's in here will get a chance to win it. And we're going to let Anne Dale write down do you have a pen? Can you write
does that mean no? Let's see.
I can write down a number.
I got one. I gotta have a marker. Hang on. Let's see. So you're gonna let me write down a number. Well, I've got to have a piece of paper. All right. What's the number? We have 12 people in here. Is that right?
1 through 15, maybe.
Okay. I have the number.
Okay, and I'm going to say start, and then you're going to start putting numbers in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, she's got a number, so
let's see. Let me type in start.
One number per person. I'm having a little more trouble typing because I'm on the phone, but
yeah, let me type in start. Okay. All right. Now y'all put some numbers 1 to 15. And I will try to watch my phone chat, and then you can potentially win. And let's see, 1 to 15. One person, 15 Red Road Homestead. I don't see it yet. Let's see. Oh, Nancy deleted, and you can delete yours too, Red Road Homestead. So let's see. Okay. We'll look on this chat. Keep going. Keep going. Red Road Homestead. Stop. Red Road Homestead.
Got it.
Yay! It was number 11.
Lena, if you would send me your address to this email that's going across, I already have an envelope made up that has my mailing address. So all I have to do is shove this into an envelope. It already has stamps on it and everything. It's ready to go.
Hey, David Corey. How are you, David Corey?
I don't know. There's probably 15 seeds in here or more, but that's plenty. And then you'll get it going. You'll harvest, and you'll have to give some away yourself. Hello, David
Corey with crop. Yeah, he's a buddy of mine. He's a nice guy. He's funny as all get out, but he's an old timer. Not an old time person. He is gardening from the old timey ways, and he does a very good job. So yeah, I'm glad to see you, David. Meet some friends, buddy.
Yeah, I've seen his name on. Sometimes I try to talk faster than my brain thinks, and it's like blah, 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 and then I say
He's a hoot.
where it's anyway. I was going to ask you, do you know of any gardening collabs that are going on right now?
I don't know of gardening collaborations. There have been cooking collaborations and reduce, reuse, recycle collaborations. I don't know of any. Last year or a year before, that actually ended in March of last year, so it's a little late now. There was that MIG. Other than what is it called when all these teams? I've never done it. Shed Wars, but it's not called Shed Wars anymore. Hey,
oh yeah,
it's something else where they all have teams. I don't really get into that. But.
I don't know what the name of it is now, but yeah, previously thought of to be Shed Wars. Yes, that is going on. So I have 2 gardening collaborations going on right now. Weird Container Growing 23. This is my 3rd annual year for that. And it's basically growing in anything that isn't conventionally for gardening. So it's not
the Weird Container. Yeah, I did that one year. That was hard.
So I'm having that this year. And I haven't decided, but there could be maybe a prize. We'll see. I'm thinking about that because there has been quite a few. I literally had like 4 or 5 people join in one day. It was really cool.
Okay.
Also, because I had such a terrible gardening year last year, I decided to do #BlessMyGarden23. And it's just basically where you pray over your garden and just pray over, no pests, good soil, good weather, no flooding, no high winds. I mean, there's just so many variables on a garden. And it's just basically giving it to God and saying, God, I know you made everything. The success and failure of my garden is in your hands.
That's right.
I put my hands into it. You can see the dirt under my nails. I've worked hard. And then I'm just giving it to him. So that I've done mine. The Vineyard Chicks did a very good one. They did a song, a Lord's Prayer song, blessing their garden. Hello, Lori's World. Hello, Judy Foodie.
Cool.
Hutch sent her over. Gardening collaborations that I've done for this year.
Okay, they both sound great. Now the unusual container one. That put my little brain. That had my brain smoking. I had some smoke bubbles going up top.
There's been some good ones. Already. Hello, Mimi's Frugal Life. And you know what? I didn't even check my hashtag today because I went from church to lunch to trying to work on my laptop to, also dealing with the vine borer situation.
Maybe.
Because I don't know whether it's in this one. I might just be paranoid. But all that. So all that to get to this point. Okay. Good job, Lena. That'll be nice. That way I can go ahead and address it and put it in the mail, and you can get these out. Because your weather, you probably still have a couple of weeks. I don't know when your date is, but mine are already coming up, and there's a few that aren't coming up. So one of my strategies is if it's not coming up, put another seed in there. Put another seed. Sound like hands in the dirt. Put another seed in there.
Yep, put a seed in the dirt. That's right.
Just put another seed in the dirt until you see something green pop out of there. And possibly, if you've already put 2 or 3, it might be the seed. That's the problem with soil. But do we have any questions from the audience for me or for Anne or for both of us? Hello, Duval City Gardener. Hello.
Okay, Mimi's Frugal Life has brought up a good subject where she's saying, I'm starting to put yarns plants outside today. There is a way. Do you harden off your plants that you have started inside, Gail?
No.
Well, you're supposed to. But hey, this is
I did not. But I'm eating Texas 8A. It's warm. Okay, so mine went straight from the grow light to the yard. However, that did not quite work for all of my. Okay, so the only tomatoes I had under there were beefsteak.
Okay.
Out of 8, 2 are okay. So there is a what not to do. Don't not harden off your plants because because you end up with 2 out of 8. So I'm the reason you should harden off your plants. Yes, you should. But the
Your
surprise
yard,
was
yes,
no, I didn't.
your yard, your garden, your rules, honey. You get to do exactly what you want to do and learn from those rather
Mhm.
rebellious ways
I
that
knew I
you're.
should have, but I didn't, and but that's okay. I have lots of seeds, so thanks to Garden State Gardener, I can just throw some more seed in there.
That's exactly right. And you
Because
have
I
time.
almost always, when I answer, I almost always say tomatoes, so I always have some. And
Yeah.
then I got not only the ones from Garden State Gardener, but I also got the ones from the IBG Seed Swap. So I had that double. And so I ended up with probably 14 varieties of tomatoes
Oh my
outside.
God. So
I
Laura's World
know.
says, do I need to harden my plants if I go from inside to a greenhouse? I wouldn't think you would need to take them in and out of the greenhouse. No. If you're going from inside straight to the ground or outside, yes. If you're going into a greenhouse, as long as in the greenhouse you have a fan of some sort to act like there's some wind blowing, in my opinion, then
Yeah, that sounds
I
right.
don't think you have to harden them off. And, Lori living up north so far that
Yeah.
um, they may stay in a greenhouse. I don't know.
Yeah, she does grow a lot of stuff in the ground. I was actually shocked. She had, I want to say she said it was her first year to grow celery. And she had the most beautiful celery you've ever seen in your life. And you're like, what is that? Beginner's luck? I mean, how did she get such beautiful celery? Mine came up and just like,
Yes, well, I have some celery growing that I cut off the bottom of one of the celery stalks, and don't pay attention to that bloom. But anyway, there's some roots that are growing, and then it pops up, so I can put this whole thing right in the ground. I'm excited about that. It needs to go in the ground like yesterday, but yeah. Hey, Belt Loop, sup?
I never thought this day would come. Starting to put plants out in the yard today. Yes, yes. I was so excited. Like I'm just, I'm very impatient and I'm not the one to follow because I'm trying to throw it out there early because I don't know. I'm just anxious. I had such a bad year last year. I just wanted to get started on something good, and
I
that's why
got
I
you.
didn't plant all of the seed except for the one because I wanted to make sure I had more in case it didn't work. I could put more seed in there. So I'm like, okay, the tomatoes are really slow coming up. So I had just won some seeds from Garden State Gardener, some cherry tomato seeds, and I went and put one back in every spot over there. And I'm like, something will come up. I will have some tomatoes.
That's great. That's
No
great.
matter what.
Now,
No
Jan
matter what.
had asked me what am I going to grow that I haven't grown before? What am I going to grow this year that I haven't grown before? There's not that. I mean, what I'm doing is different varieties of tomatoes. My husband has asked me to please not plant so many tomatoes this year because 3/4 of my garden is tomatoes. But what he has agreed to is having just about the same amount, but a whole different. I mean, like I could have 10
A little
different
bit
varieties,
different.
a whole bunch of different varieties. He loves the cherry tomatoes they're called sun gold. They're golden, and they look, I mean, they're kind of big cherry tomatoes.
Are they yellow?
Man, those things are good. They are so delicious. So that's one. We're going to grow some different squashes this year, and I'm going to up my herb game,
Mhm.
and grow even more herbs than last year because I have a designated space now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine are kind of spread out. I have some in pots. I have some in one of my long raised beds kind of is split up because I couldn't decide what I wanted in there, so I just did a little bit of everything. Well, in the middle there is lemon balm and dill. and then over here some tomatillas, and over here some ground cherries. So
Okay.
it's kind of all mixed up, and hopefully I didn't plant the wrong things together, but
I
that's
know.
just find. I just couldn't find space for it, but I wanted all of them, so I put them all in.
Yeah, I had someone. Oh, sun gold is your favorite belt loop. Cool. I had someone one time tell me not to plant basil besides tomatoes, but it didn't affect the tomatoes, and the basil grew great. I had never heard of that, and it was too late because
Now,
they were
I've
already
heard
in the
the
ground.
opposite of that, which is
Yeah.
plant basil with tomatoes to ward off the bugs that like tomatoes,
Yeah.
because it doesn't like the smell of basil. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't really like the smell of basil either, but if it'll ward off the bugs, I'm good with that. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even going to harvest my basil. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to let it protect my tomato. That's all its purpose is for me. And I know some people love basil, but I'm
Yeah.
using it only as a companion plant. That's my only purpose for it.
Yeah.
I know Bunky would be like, "Oh no, she didn't harvest her basil,"
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
can't. It makes me sneeze. It makes my allergies crazy. So,
I had no idea. The most surprising thing I just learned is sage, when it's going to seed, is the most beautiful plant ever in the world. I mean, it puts off these beautiful lavender flowers. I didn't even know that happened.
yeah, it
This is my
does.
second year. It went through the whole. Got it last year. It went all through the winter, so this is my second year on it, and it is going to seed, and it is so pretty. I've taken so many pictures of it because I like purple, and it's got the most beautiful lavender flowers.
There you go.
I don't even want to mess with
Always
it
plant
there.
basil with tomatoes. Okay, well, see, you
Yeah.
get on this world of the round tube, we get quite a bit of advice, and
Yes.
just as many people as that there are on here, that's how many opinions we all have. So,
And
that's
and
why
while
we
you're
all say,
talking about that, I want to hear other people's advice on this. So you can keep talking about that, but we'll get people talking about it in the chat. How long, and this, you're going to get so many answers on this. How long do you leave chicken manure before you can plant in it? How long do you leave it? I
right.
want to hear everybody's answer to that, because I have
Okay.
heard anywhere from 3 months to a year. So I want to hear what y'all say. And I've
Yeah.
looked it up on the internet, and it says something totally different. So,
Well, I would be interested in that because we now
yeah.
have two little chicks. I have my two little chickens. And
Awesome.
6
Baby.
months, at least 2 years. So there's 2, quite a different, a year at least. So see, there's 3 different opinions right there.
Yeah.
And,
Where you get an opinion. Now, according to the internet, it's 6 months.
and this says a good time is 4 months before planting. So there are 4 opinions and 4 different amounts.
See? You see what I'm saying? This is where.
Yeah, and Thelma and Louise out there, my chicks, they be pooping. They be pooping a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I composted mine with chicken manure in the fall for the spring. So
Yes.
if you're calling it 3 to 6 months, which is what I heard originally, and so I went with that, and I looked it up and saw it as well. So that's what I was going with. According to that, I'm planning in the right. And my plants are looking good. So
Well, there you there. Well, there you have it.
I did it in September, and it's now April. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Somebody's asking, do you grow potatoes? So, and somebody else said, I've never seen the movie. Belt Luke, I bet you've got about 4 lives going. What movie are you talking about, baby? And she said, do you grow potatoes? I do not. Do you grow potatoes, Gail?
I do not. I have been wanting to try potatoes, and every year I just don't follow through with that. I haven't followed through. But you know what? There's so many more years of gardening. I'm sure I'll get around to it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
we
sure I'll
have
get
an issue. My husband does all the yard maintenance, the grass mowing and weed eating and things like that. Oh, okay. So Devil Dog says, this is the only live I'm in. I don't devil dog. Okay, baby. That's all right. That's good. I was talking about the movie you mentioned, Thelma and Louise. Yes. You need to watch that movie because they're survivors. And my chicks, my chickens are survivors too.
Is that what you named them?
Yeah, Thelma and Louise.
Oh, that's cool. I named mine. I named one after my sister Gretchen. I named 3 of them after Seventh Heaven characters, Mary, Lucy, and Ruthie. And then my husband named one Dot, and my daughter named one Marigold, like the flower.
Oh, well, I had names all out, all picked out because I was supposed to get 5. And so I had all my YouTube friends' names picked out. I was just going to check the chickens' personalities to see which one to call what name. And a predator came, and unfortunately, on the farm or the place at Black's Tropical Homestead where I was staying for the weekend for Soil Family, they'd never had a predator ever before. They take care of everything beautifully. And I was to leave on Monday, and late in the evening, Saturday night, sometime between midnight and 4, a predator came in and took 7 of the chickens. And so there were only 2 left, which came home with me. So Thelma and Louise are survivors and overcomers.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Yeah. I had chickens, 4 chickens killed by a raccoon about 2 years ago. And then someone put game hens, and then we someone gave us game hens right after, and we named them Holly and Noel, and they just lay small white eggs. The game hens do.
And you have a privacy fence around your yard too, right?
Yeah. My very first year of Shed Wars, I had dogs digging in my yard because just anybody could go through my yard, people or animals. Yeah. So my husband put around the privacy fence to protect my garden. That was its original purpose. But when I'm in the garden, I don't want to feel like someone's staring at me. I don't want to worry about what I'm wearing or what my hair looks like or anything. I just want, if I go out there and don't brush my hair and wear a tank top and some shorts and no shoes or whatever, I don't want anybody to see me in that state. That's really, I'll be honest with you, that's my perfect state. I haven't brushed my hair, I have my tank top and my shorts on. Yeah. And I usually take my shoes off when I'm serious about gardening. So that's when I'm at my happiest. But I don't want anyone to walk in on that moment. Okay. Yeah. And then people walking into my yard when I was gardening, and I did not like that. So I wanted to have privacy to do my gardening.
I don't blame you. Yeah, we live in a neighborhood, but our home, I'm so sorry, Indiana. In Dania Gardner.
I thought it said Indiana, but now that I'm looking,
it's in Dania, right? In Dania Gardner.
When I very first saw it, I thought it was Indiana Backyard Gardener. And I was
that's where my brain went. I'm sorry, we got you mixed up, sweetie. So we were calling you the wrong thing. But that's terrible that foxes and coyotes came. And
we have a permanent predator cage that stays by our chicken cages to catch. We've caught quite a few raccoons, quite a few skunks, only 1 possum, and a couple of cats. And if you watch my video where I'm talking about tragedy, my little chicks were out free ranging. One of them walked into the cage closed. I was making a video at the time. Hubby was out there too, and proceeded to get its head stuck in the cage.
Oh no.
And I turned off the camera immediately. I was freaking out thinking the little chick is going to die right in front of me.
Right.
Before I turned the camera right off because I didn't care about video. I just wanted to get my little baby chick out of there. And hubby had it out before. And so I started back filming a little while after that, once I calmed down a little. But yeah, if you listen to the video close enough, I yelled.
Oh gosh. Well, did it die?
No, it's fine. She's fine.
Well, see, that's an overcomer too. There you go.
Yeah, she got her little head stuck, and I think it was Mary.
Oh my gracious.
Oh,
Hey,
Janet.
Janet Cruising Homestead. I'm glad to see you, sweetie. She is coming up and coming in the YouTube world. I'm
Yeah,
thrilled to have her.
I was gonna say I think that's a new one. I couldn't remember if I had my subscriber only mode, but there's been a couple of people in here I don't recognize, so maybe I didn't, which is good because I got some new people.
That's right. You make sure you give her a thumbs up, and if you like what you see, then subscribe to the channel. That would be great.
Here's
Yes,
the
that's right. I'm
Does
not as
anyone
sweet as you are doing it, but
gardening hacks that they want to share with the group, that you want to share with other people, something you've learned from your grandpa? We really like these organic type methods, like the yellow bowl. The
right,
yellow
right. Well,
bowl
you
is
had a gardening hack. That's right. Well, I can tell you something. There's two different things that we did last year when our tomatoes. It was a weird weather year. It was weird for sprouts. It was weird for everything, and our tomatoes got blossomy and rotten. And so we obviously, hey, Little Ridge Farm, we obviously did not have enough calcium in the soil. And thank you, Indiana Gardener. Um, we put in milk, whole milk, just poured milk while we watered it down, get a 5-gallon bucket with a gallon of milk, and we watered the tomato plants with milk. That helped tremendously. Also, if you get a 5-gallon bucket of water and drop some Tums in there, stir that up and water your tomato plants. Those are both, all of that is great for calcium. So it's natural, and you don't have to buy much. You can buy a package of Tums. And the milk, even if you have some leftover milk that might be soured, you can use that.
with the milk before that was going bad. Like my mom will occasionally give us milk, and if it's too much, I'll use it. But I regularly use the almond milk.
Well, that's very healthy for you.
Other
Good for
things
you.
not the regular.
And Jan says she's planting fish heads this year. Good for you.
Jan, you'll have to tell us about the egg trick. I have been using the banana water.
I poured some out today.
This is on my second year, banana water. I don't see the original people I saw. I know I've seen Micro Farmer and Indiana Backyard Gardener. Those are the two that I can remember at this point. But I've been doing that for a couple of years, and my jalapeno and cayenne that I bought from the local place that's already up, I put that on them, and they're growing just great and fine. They don't have any peppers on them yet, but they're looking good. But I always forget on peppers. Are you supposed to pull off from the top or from the bottom?
You're supposed to pinch from the top.
Pinch.
Yeah, like when it's growing out, and then in order to get it to bush instead of just a straight stalk, then you pinch off the top, those first leaves and things, but you let it get, some height on it. I'm trying to get this to work. Let it get some height, and then you pinch the top of it off, and then it bushes out instead of growing straight up. And yeah, I usually do about this much. It hurts me, and I apologize to them every time that I do that.
That you showed there? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's about
mine have grown since I bought them, so I think, and I'm hoping to have my own because I have 2 different pepper beds. I am trying 2 different areas.
Good.
The crate that my husband gave me that I painted white. There's some in that, and there's some in the black container back at the back of the yard. So I have them in 2 places, and then the 2 I bought. But I'm trying to grow them myself. We'll see what.
Good for you.
And if I get any peppers, I'm going to try them, even if they're hot ones. So
Okay. Good.
Wish you luck.
Well, I bought a cayenne pepper start this year. I don't like cayenne pepper, but my husband loves cayenne pepper. And Sherry from Black's Tropical Homestead made cayenne pepper salve this year. And I have tried it, and it helps with inflammation so much that I want to try to do that. I've used banana water in place of a container. Me too. Put an egg in the hole, slightly cover it with dirt. Jan, do you break the egg or do you leave it whole?
I've been wanting to try that too.
Yeah.
I have been wanting to try that too.
Yep. Cayenne does keep away inflammation. Well, I can tell you something else that we forgot to do last year, which was one reason why we had blossom end rot. Before we put in the tomato plants, all the years in the past, we put a Tums in the hole with the tomato plant. That worked great. We'd never had any blossom end rot until we forgot to put the Tums in there. I put a whole egg into the hole. When I plant my tomatoes, I always break the egg. It works wonders. Okay. Some people don't, some people do, but I would say, yeah.
I've been wanting to try that. I wonder if it attracts ants. That's my only problem. Like anything that attracts ants.
Well, it's under the ground, so maybe not.
Maybe not.
And she said, and Jan says cayenne is great around plants too, along with cinnamon. Cinnamon is very good around plants. Yes.
Yeah, I have been trying.
Yep. And I have done the cayenne thing. What?
I've been using the DE too, the diatomaceous earth. Around on different plants too, just walking around and spreading it out.
Yep. You need new dirt, Indiana Gardener. And David says black pepper as well.
Black? Oh. I've actually
David, you just go. I'm sorry.
And mix some cinnamon and cayenne together before and it around.
Hey, look, you inspecting your garden so much, looking for those vine borers, anything. You gonna just put it all out there.
She has no idea. She barely even knows me. She has no idea I've gone vine borer crazy, freaking out that I have them now. She has no idea that she caused that. I mean, you know, but maybe I was supposed to find that so I could look up stuff and hopefully fix it all.
I
thought, even if I don't like the cayenne peppers, I could string them up in the kitchen and make some kind of cool craft with them.
Yeah. Well, sure.
That'd be fun. I'm also going to do those bottleneck gourds, and I thought it'd be cool to, you know, you could grow those or plant in those. Hello, PSV Odyssey. Hello.
That's a great idea. Wait a minute. Shush it. You need to shush because I want to do that weird container thing. So, and I've got some gourds I could do that in.
Yeah. Oh, there's been. You guys need to check out the playlist for Weird Container Growing 23 and look and see what these guys are planting in this year. It will blow you away. You're like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Mine aren't really all that inventive. It's hard though because I see everybody else, and that makes it hard because I don't know if my imagination is as good as theirs, but Lori's is really good. Lori planted in a air fryer that she's not going to use anymore.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
When you harvest carrots and radish, how do you keep them from going soft?
Yeah. Now David says don't wash them. Yes, that is, I have, from what I understand, and I haven't done this, you're supposed to put them in a paper bag when you put them in your refrigerator. And that helps them keep their firmness. But David says don't wash them. And
I agree with that too.
A little more of the tops on. Okay.
Maybe it's like eggs. They have some kind of bloom on them, like an egg, to where when you wash it, you remove that natural protection it has. Because I explained that to my stepdaughter. I was like, if you're going to put it in, leave it on the counter and let me put it away. Or if you're going to wash them, you have to put them in the refrigerator, is what I told her. I said, you can wash them, but you have to put them in the refrigerator after you do that. You can't you can't wash them and leave them on the counter.
Right.
You can only leave them on the counter if they're not washed yet.
That's right.
But we have baskets that we put them in. One is a basket for the kitchen, and one is a basket that has a handle I made to walk out and pick them up.
So Indiana Gardener says a tip for potatoes, use old tires and keep stacking and putting in new dirt. Okay. I like that idea.
Yeah, I could do that. I actually have 6 tires in my garden now.
Oh yeah, you do. You've got some great unique items that you're growing in out there.
Yeah, I do. I just garden on a budget and do the best I can. I'll have money and I'll buy stuff, like good bone meal, blood meal, and good stuff like that. And then there'll be times I'll be planting in a trash can, So
Right.
you never know what I might do. It might be classy, it might be redneck. You just don't know. But you know what? It obviously works, or I wouldn't be doing it.
That's exactly right. Well, I can tell you the best fertilizer that we have found is what we call super juice, and that was named that by Miss Linda. A lot of people call it garden tea or whatever, but you just get a bucket. Now you need a lid, although we haven't had one, and put some water in there. Put all your scraps from your garden, anything that's green, and banana peels, grass clippings. You can put collard greens. You can put your potato skins, onion skins, anything in there, and let it sit in that water for 3 days, which ours is set longer. And trust me, it stinks really, really badly.
Yeah.
And then you feed it back to your plants, called super juice. And occasionally put a little 511 in there, which is fish fertilizer. And that is the best stuff. It's so awesome. It really is awesome. It's the best fertilizer we've ever done, we've ever used.
I like that idea. I've seen this guy. I'm trying to remember what his channel name is. Grow in box, or grow something with a grow in box. It has grow in box in it. But he was doing his own soil, and he actually added alfalfa pellets into his soil mix. I've never seen that. It was a little
box. You're talking about growing out of the box?
That's it. Growing out of the box. That guy is really, really good. I've learned quite a bit of things from him. Yeah. And funny, sometimes I remember exactly who I learned stuff from. Like, I learned that you can use human hair to ward off certain things in your garden as well. And I learned that from Eco Neighbor. So I remember that specifically.
Human hair, because we have deer that come up, and we have some bunny. And the way that we learned, there's a couple of ways. Yeah, compost tea, David. That's right. There's a couple of ways to ward those off. Some is human hair. So we clean out our brushes and put hair around the edges of the garden. Yeah, growing out of the box. And a male can have he can put his, I'm trying to say this in the most genteel way possible, but it's hard to do that. He can pour his urine around the garden. And I don't mean like go out there and give a little show. What I mean is maybe go in a restroom or the shed or something and find a container to pee in, and you pour your urine all around the edge. And that works, man. It really does. It shows them that you're boss and that they need to not cross that line. So it helps, but it has to be a male. I don't know why.
Yeah, they know. That's true, man.
Yeah, it has to be male. It won't work with female. I don't get that. I don't get that. Yeah, don't be walking around your yard. We don't want you arrested. We don't want you walking around your yard. christening the garden. So,
That's funny.
but we did stop the deer from coming and getting in the garden from that, and from putting out our spring soap. We put out our spring soap around the edges. Oh, there's an ant crawling on my table.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Irish Spring. What kind
And that works too. That
ward
helps.
off? What does that ward off? What kind of stuff does? Because I did
Any
read that
kind of
sometime.
insects, it has the same kind of thing. Do I have a gift shop at my farm? I don't, Alfonso. Um, it's the same kind of things that you would do for basil or onion or garlic or any of those. So, see you soon, Indiana Gardener.
Bye. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Alfonso.
And Duval says, for just deer or others like opossum and raccoon? Well, I don't know. Raccoons are relentless, and so are possums. And currently, we are dealing with the official name is nutras, but they're also known as swamp rats. And I have 2 that are coming up in the yard now. And unfortunately, they're coming up at separate times, but I can tell them apart by their size. And I think one is a male and one is a female, which is horrible because these things are bigger than a dog. I mean, they're called swamp rats, but well, it's not even. It's like this long, this big.
You have a game camera?
I don't, but I should.
I want my husband to set up one of his game cameras he has, because he has a couple. I said, can you buy me a game camera? And he's like, well, I already have game cameras. I said, well, can you set one up so I can see if there's anything going to the chicken or the baby chick pen? And really, I'll be honest with you, I want to make sure there's nothing around the baby chicks. I'll be honest with you. I really don't want any of them to get hurt or anything. I mean, I was pretty devastated when I got 4 chickens killed.
You were. I
remember exactly. It was Tweety, Stevie, Boots, and Rusty. Those were the 4 chickens that were killed. I remember still to this day which ones got killed. I have a little trouble reading that. It's tiny because I'm on my.
It says, hi, Gail. Have you ever seen the movie Barnyard? It's about a cow defending their farm animals from coyotes and raccoons. And
no, I haven't.
I have seen it with my grandbabies, and he does defend everything. Can the mink man, his mink will run them off? David, you got me, baby. You got to retype that, honey. I don't quite understand that one. But yeah, as far as predators, Irish spring soap, human hair, because the plants don't work with animals, and urine. So that's what we use.
You tell these things to Lucy because she's got trouble with deer out there, but she's got some gated areas there because when we went to visit, there's some nice gated areas for gardening out there. Oh, that's really cool. Let's see. So when you're done with your gardening season at the end of this year, what kinds of things do you start composting your garden with?
Oh, goodness. Well, we have, for one thing, we try to, call the mink man. Oh, I got you, David. I call the mink man to get rid of those swamp rats. Yeah, with that mink man going to have to visit, I believe. We, at the end of fall, in winter, we still have some winter crops that grow with broccoli and cabbage and collards and things for a long, long time. But what we do with, like, say, our snap beans, we'll cut them down to the soil level, but leave the roots because the roots do build nitrogen in the soil. As far as pepper plants and tomato plants and cucumber plants, I pull all that. And then we have leaf mulch that we put in. Leaf mulch sometimes a little lime, sometimes with some super juice, things like that. But it's mostly, honestly, it's mostly leaf mulch that we
Mhm.
cover as a ground cover for our garden.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we've got the leaves. Pshoosh, we got the leaves.
Yeah, we had that real bad hailstorm last year in May, and that knocked down a whole bunch of leaves in the front and backyard. And the backyard looked like fall, and it was literally spring. And
Oh,
so I hired one of the daughters to rake it up and put it into bags. So some of it's in a corner, but the rest of it was in these bags. And I used that on top of my beds this
mm-hmm,
year. And a
mm-hmm.
lot of that broke down.
Yes,
A lot of it broke down, but not all of it. Now,
right.
some of it I pulled out, and some of it I just kind of scooted around it and
Mm-hmm,
left
mm-hmm.
it still there. And
I
I've
like it.
tried this method to do everything. I mean, you should see how I'm doing my tomatillas. I cut a cardboard and I cut little triangles to put the seed, but then I was having trouble finding them, so I decided and then I put leaves and sticks and a rock there to hold it, and then so I have 3 places, but I couldn't find it. Didn't have enough room to grow up, so I put the dirt on top of it, planted another seed. So
Okay.
I am fussing over these tomatillas, so I
You
hope they
are.
grow. And there will be no weeds because there's literally just 3 triangles, and
Yeah.
this is regular tomatillas, and I have 3 purple tomatillas too, but those are in buckets.
Have you ever tasted one? I've never tasted a tomatillo.
I'm guessing it would taste like a lot like a green tomato, but
Yeah.
I have this dip that I make with it,
Okay.
and I mostly just use it for that.
I got
But
you.
I usually don't get a lot at one time. But I would love to see the purple ones. It'd be nice. But you can cut them in half and put them in some water and just preserve them in little snack bags in the freezer. And if you want to make dip or something else that you would make with that, you could preserve that in your freezer and use it during the winter.
Oh,
So
that
if I
sounds
decided I wanted
great.
to make green dip during the winter, I could just thaw that out, grind it up in the blender with the rest of the ingredients, and there you go.
Okay. Well,
I've never used it by itself, but I'm
okay.
guessing,
Well,
one year I
people can
had
use
green
them.
tomatoes and they were small, and I've always seen fried green tomatoes done with really big tomatoes. Well, I had little ones. I went ahead and cut those just like you do because I didn't want to waste them. And I made little small fried green tomato squares, and my family just loved them. And I made some homemade ranch dip. Just took the sour cream and the homemade
Yeah.
ranch and mixed that together and dipped it in like that, like you would eat. That's how we eat squash, actually, fried squash.
Okay.
Like that. So,
Cool.
and
Cool.
so I plan to do a squash recipe series this summer, provided the squash is good for me. I have 4 different kinds of squash. So I'm going to be doing like a different recipe every week. I'm going to try to post that video on Friday. I might even premiere it, and I'm not really a premiere person, but I might
Yeah.
even do a premiere. But I started looking up recipes, and so that's one thing I plan to do this summer, provided the squash is good. If it's willing from God for me to have squash, then I will.
There you go. There you go. Human hair for deer or a t-shirt with dried urine on it. What do you do with that t-shirt, David? You just lay it out there in the yard? What do you do with it? I mean, do you put it on a stick like a scarecrow? I don't know. I don't know. So many questions. So many questions.
Yeah, so many questions. So many questions. Um,
I
try
had
purple tomatillo. Yeah, if I had the seed, I certainly would.
try a pineapple tomatilla. Okay.
I
That sounds see, there's so many things I want to
know.
grow.
There could be a strawberry tomatillo too, which I
Yeah.
guess is red. I don't know.
There are so many things I want to try.
I
But
know.
then I get stuck in a rut, of what's familiar. And
Yeah, that's why I'm really hoping to get the ground cherries because I want to try them, and I know it's kind of half the people like ground cherries and half the people don't. But I have to grow them myself to find out if I like them. So
yes, you do.
it's also a conquering thing. I want to conquer growing ground cherries.
That's
So
right. There you go. And
I
nothing tastes as good as when it comes out of your own garden. I mean,
yeah,
let's get real with that. There is
I know
nothing
it
that tastes as
comes
good
in
as that.
like tomatillo and loofah also comes in kind of a husk thing.
I've
Let's
never
say,
tasted that either, a tomatillo or a ground cherry.
yeah, I've never tasted it by itself. I pretty much make dip with it, to be
And
honest with
then
you.
kohlrabi. I haven't ever had a kohlrabi. I
Robbie.
had several. I want to grow kohlrabi this year, but I've had several that were growing beautifully and had bulbs on them, and the doggone geese came and ate every leaf off of them. They just took them out. So we're going to have we'll have fencing this year because they've done it for 2 years in a row. So we'll have fencing when we put the plants out when things start coming up.
What is your favorite variety of tomato? I think I know the answer, but let's see.
Ah, well, I like, oh gosh, what is it? It's pink something. It just went out of my head.
Brandywine.
Thank you. Yes, pink brandywine.
I remember I asked you like a year ago
Yes.
what kind of tomatoes those were, and I thought you were going to answer that, but I wasn't sure. I was like, well,
Yeah,
she might have acquired
it's
another
brandywine.
favorite.
That is so
But
fun
it's
to
just
grow. I
because
mean, it
you guys
takes a year and a
didn't
half. Takes a year and a half for them to grow. It takes forever for them to grow. But they get big and
those are cute. Those would be perfect for one of those tomato pie things that I've been seeing. And
yeah.
I'm like, if I get a big enough tomato, I'm going to make one of those pies. Well, I guess you don't really have to have a big tomato to
No,
make
you
it.
don't. You can use a bunch of little ones. You can use a bunch of little ones. Oh, you love ground cherries, Jan? What do they how do they taste? I mean, I have haven't you, Gail, haven't you had people they're hot or cold. They like ground cherries or they do
Yeah,
not.
it's like I said, it's 50-50. Half people, like I watched Lori's World with her mom. Her mom did not like it. Her husband did not like it, but she loved them. So that's 1 out of 3 in her house. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Oh, they
I have
taste sweet,
no
Jan
clue.
says.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
surprised they came in a husk, but I started looking them up. This will be my second year. I had a bunch of pine mulch in that area, and I was having trouble seeing if they were coming up. So I dug all the pine mulch out, fussing over it.
Yes.
And I found the tiny little plants, and I pretty much kept it out because I want to be able to see if it's coming up.
Right.
So I'm hoping, and then once I get some of that, I might be able to put some mulch back there. But just so I could see where it's coming up, I needed to be able to see more of the ground.
That's so
And Dan's
good.
like, don't give up on the ground cherries. I'm like, I'm trying not to, but oh my goodness, they're taking forever.
Yeah, Jan says I grow pineapple ground cherries. They have a hint of pineapple. Oh,
What?
how yummy.
I
Pineapple
don't.
ground cherries. And then there was pineapple tomatillas. I mean, we got to get in the groove. Duval says she loves ground cherries.
Yeah, see,
Half and half.
there you go. There you go.
They
That's
make an
fun.
awesome S&S. What is an S&S sauce? Salsa something?
Sweet and sour, maybe?
Oh, sweet and sour. That would make more sense.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. Possibly. Is there anything new that you're growing this year, Anne Dale?
Not yet. I I'm gonna and I'm gonna, we are I hate to say I'm gonna because, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And until you actually have, then I hate to even talk about it. But yeah, we're going to grow different varieties of tomatoes that we've never grown before, different types of squash that we've never grown before. I really want some spaghetti squash this year and some acorn squash this year. You know, we want to expand on what we already have. I want some kohlrabi.
Yeah, I want to try the spaghetti squash, but I don't have any seed for this year. But I'm going to try to find some for next year because I think I might like it.
And now you got me wanting to grow ground cherries and tomatillos, so I might have to do that too.
Try that out. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. Hello, My Wild Home. This is a new channel I found. Let me pull up their channel name real quick. It's a husband and wife, and they live in Canada. They bought an island, and so the videos are them exploring their island. I'm thinking eventually they're going to build a cabin on there to live. I'm trying to watch the videos in order because it seems like it's a series kind of thing. So they went and checked out some of the old cabins that were on this island. And, you know, there's some that are kind of broke down and with some old equipment. And I don't think any of them look like they could fix them, but you never know.
That's true. That's true. Yep. I'm friends with them too. They came highly recommended by Jesse from Lazy Days Ahead and Scott from Rambling with the Brooms.
Oh, they found this channel as well?
They did. And
well, last I looked, they were around 500, and I was really shocked about that because of the content of their channel. Really seems like something that a lot of homesteading people would like. I found it very interesting.
That's what so many people have made a point to really call them out and say how much they have enjoyed their channel. I have started watching some of theirs, but you know, life is busy and I've got to get caught back up.
I just happened to start with the intro, and that made me want to try to watch them in order. So I don't know anything about what they're currently doing because I'm trying to watch them in order. So
yeah, there you go. There you go.
So okay. I can't wait to see that. You know, they got that house built and the garden started, and I know they had some family out too. I just happened to look and see a picture of one of their uncles was visiting or something, but I didn't watch the video because it's not in order. But I just saw the title. You know,
well, I'm telling you what, they are getting some high praise. You are getting some high praise, My Wild Home.
Because I stopped what I was talking about and started talking about them when I saw their name. So
you have been very impressive. And anybody that's in here or watches the replay, we suggest that you go to My Wild Home. So that would be, and everyone else that's in here. We all have made good friends, but My Wild Home is new and we're going to build a community up and around them.
Yes. Anybody who is a mod is welcome to put up their link or anyone else's link that's in the chat.
Yeah, that's right.
And
so what are you doing that is new to you, Gail, in your garden? You're growing kohlrabi, David? Good.
Elderberry from seed because I got the seeds in the IBG seed swap.
Okay, cool.
Trying elderberry from seed, which I know is quite uncommon. We'll see if I actually accomplish that. Butternut squash and acorn squash are new to me.
Okay.
I'm trying sugar baby watermelon, which would be new to me. That's in the wild garden. Yeah.
It's over in the wild garden.
In the wild garden. Let's see. And I'm going to try to grow hollyhocks that someone sent me a couple of years ago. I said I'm going to plant them or throw them away, but I didn't want to throw them away, so I planted them. I planted all kinds of sunflowers my first year with nasturtiums. I just saw a picture of Nicole Smith gardening where she was showing her nasturtium. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. So I'm going that, and I should have a lot of flowers. And I had some sunflowers that dropped on the ground in one particular spot. So what I did was I dug out the weeds out of that spot, put bricks around it, and then I went ahead and planted 3 different other varieties of sunflowers and a couple of zinnias and marigolds, and it's going to be this huge flower.
Fantastic.
thought it would be really pretty as a backdrop for like family pictures and
Oh
selfies and
gosh,
stuff. So
yes, yes.
that gets going like because it's already pretty massive.
You
And
might.
if anybody has chickens out here, if you feed your chickens black oil sunflower seeds, they will grow. And so people are asking me, how come your sunflowers have these branches off of it? Well, that's what the chicken sunflowers, that's what they look like. They branch off and put different, they have branches off like a tomato, and each one has its own flower head. So that's
Oh,
what's
that's cool.
I know. And then I have a few other varieties. I think I had some Mama sunflowers, and then You Grow Rose sent me some chocolate cherry sunflowers. I
How
think
do
she
you
said
remember
that's
that?
hard, and I planted those up.
That's so
Then
wonderful. I have to
yeah,
I have to do better. I have to do better and make a list and write down what everybody sends me or what I win from where so that I can thank people.
I
And
actually started to write their on the like if they send me a pack, like if I win it or if they send me a pack and a Christmas card or something, I will write their channel name on the sticker pack. I mean on the seed pack.
how
Because
smart is that?
I just write You Grow Row, and I know when I look at it and when I plant it, I know. And when it comes up, but I just remember that she sent those. So she happened to watch the video the other day where I said, yeah, and I planted the seeds from You Grow Row. And she watched that video. Oh, you planted my seed. Yes, I did. So
Oh, how nice. I have some seeds from Grace and Fire, some sunflower seeds that need to get in the ground.
yeah, I have some of
Oh,
those sunflower seeds too. Those are planted.
good. And so
They
Jan
were,
says she eats nasturtiums, and David said he eats nasturtium. I heard they're
yeah.
hot. They're like peppery.
I want to try a flower. I don't know if I like it, but I just want to try it to say that I have. I think I have some, is it dahlias
Uh-huh.
that you can eat as well?
Oh, I don't know whether you can
And I
eat
have
them.
to confirm that with Jason Avers before I eat anything. It's like, this is the right one, right? I don't want to eat some kind of flower and I'm going to croak over in the floor and my husband find me like, what is going on with that? Hello, Barb's Country Home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I apologize. I haven't sent out your stitch markers yet, but I have your package and I'm going to try to get that in the mail today. So special apology from me on that.
Yeah. Well, I've got two things I've got to ship out myself. They're right here beside me. I've got to do it tomorrow and go and check on the mailbox and things. So
Yeah, I think Wendy from Hardneck Farm had sent me some seeds and she asked me about them and I'm like, ooh, that reminds me I need to go to the post office box and see if I have anything.
there you go. You have something growing in there. You might have something growing.
Yeah, and I know I just won something too, so there might be a couple of things waiting on me. We'll see. Let's see what he said here. How safe would it be for someone who was blind or visually impaired to work at a farm in general? Well, I live in the city, so I don't know. But if you had the right trainer, it might work, and you had like landmarks where you could know if you hit this particular spot, there was markings in the yard that might make it easier to get to different places. You could follow along. I mean, you could make it where it could totally work.
Oh, yeah, it could totally work, but I think it would be an individual basis,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
uh, whether
But the
they've been
training
blind
and,
since they were born or,
and
yeah. Tell you this, if you plant sunflowers, you will forever have them. Yes. You mean that you will always love them or they will never ever go away?
they
Because
will never go away because they drop seed and they continue to come back. And
okay.
that's what hyacinth does too. It will come these seeds right here. They will drop their seed and you will get more.
Well, now, do you have to have a lot of sun? A lot of sun for sunflowers? Don't they have to be right in the sun? I
Yes.
mean, I think they have to be right in the sun because I was thinking of planting some sunflowers around the chicken coop.
Yeah. We had
But
some that dropped accidentally, but hubby mowed them down. I literally, if I don't want it mowed down, I have to put bricks around it or
yeah,
something to tell him,
yeah,
hey. And you know what? Because it's different people in here today, I'm going to tell again. My pots kept getting these little nicks in the side of them, and I'm like, what in the world? Where am I getting these holes? You know, they're not breaking down like normal. There's these little nicks. It was my husband hitting it with the weed eater.
that's right.
So I used that instance of him hitting my stuff with the weed eater, and I said, okay, I need a new pot for my single seed challenge. So I made him buy me a new pot for my single seed challenge.
Okay, there you go. My first year growing sunflowers and scallop squash. All right. Good job. Good job, Barb. David says planting herbs bring nature back to your yard. Yes, I have herbs that I'm planting. I finally found some lemongrass. I hadn't been able to grow lemongrass, haven't been able to purchase lemongrass. Finally found some lemongrass at our local nursery, which was good. Dang husbands, mine does that too. I do. Pick up a grow bag from the ground and half of it stays on the ground because it has been trimmed. You know, yes, sunflowers need a lot of sun. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they did. And we have there's a canopy over the chicken coop of a tree and it's some shade. So I don't think that's the place for them.
No.
But, you know, you never
I
know.
guess complain. At least I didn't have to do the weed eating and the mowing myself.
That's right.
Really bad allergies. So hello, my raindrop life. It would literally kill me to
Yeah.
do that. I mean, my allergies would be so bad. Like I go inside and hide when he's doing that because the grass and all that.
Yeah.
And if I get out and do quite a bit of garden work, I have to go in and take a shower because things have touched my arms. And I'm already getting sun on my arms from this. I was like, why's my arm itch? And I looked down, it was red. I was like, oh, I got sun.
Okay. Good for you.
The hollyhock yesterday. I got arms already.
Okay. A way to use a weed eater as a weird container. If it wasn't running, if it didn't work, maybe so.
Yeah. Take some stuff out of the innards of it, I guess, and try to plant it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Tim.
Lemongrass you can get from Asian market to restart. David, I don't have any Asian markets where we are. We're in a teeny tiny town in northeastern North Carolina, and I would need to drive to Virginia or about an hour and a half west.
Yeah.
And I don't do that particularly for just to shop at specialty markets, which I love to go in them. I just don't get an opportunity to. Hey, Mountain Grandma.
My big city shopping is when I go to my hometown, which is Abilene, Texas. And I go there to visit my mom. And I go there to do our homeless ministry that we started back in December after my sister passed away.
Yes, that's awesome.
We've been doing that. We've gone 4 times now. And that's what I actually bought these bowls for, was to put in there. I give them like ramen noodles and stuff. And
I was going to say, share what you do because that is so wonderful. And I'm sure that your sister is sending love rays and that would be honored to be able to be remembered in this way. So what do you do to honor your sister?
So we purchased these bags at Walmart, and we put I put a New Testament Bible in there and a notepad to be able to write their family, and a pen and a wash rag and a bowl. Sometimes a cup, different things. Food, of course, and we have bags of toiletries we make up for them. Awesome. We have a few donations, but most of it's out of our own money. Hello, Mandalay cards and more. And we've been doing that since my sister passed away. My sister previously had a drug problem, but she had cleaned up, and she was trying to get her life back straight, but she was homeless. We didn't know. She was way off in Colorado, and we found out after she got hit by a car that she was homeless. So it was too late to be able to help my sister.
Right.
So we decided that God was calling my mom and myself both to go and help homeless people. So we started to gather these things, and we did our first time we went out was on Christmas Eve, and Christmas Eve is when we do our celebrating with her family. And my brother was calling, and he was wanting us to come. We're like, well, we just got to make one stop. We'll be right there. So we stopped by I think it was like the Christian something center where people were going to get food, and that was our first place that we went. Now we have a whole entire like a bus route around town.
Cool.
By the Walmart, we go by there's a Greyhound bus station there. There's actually people sleeping alongside of Walmart if you look close enough, little nooks and crannies. They sit at the libraries. The person standing there with the street sign, that was my sister. My sister had the street sign literally in her backpack of her belongings. That was my sister.
Okay.
She was the one who was asking for help. So I don't resent the sign, and I don't resent the people, and I don't, I have compassion for them that I never had before, because
it
I
puts
can't
in
help
a whole
my
nother,
sister, but I can help somebody else's sister, somebody else's dad, somebody else's family. And I'll tell you, so far with our experience in Abilene, Texas, a lot of them are over 50 and 50s and 60s. We are literally putting out our parents into the road and leaving them there. And it is right there in the Bible that we're supposed to take care of our parents and our grandparents. So somebody should have taken them in. And the most heartbreaking story that I heard, this old lady was put out of the house by her daughter, and now she's homeless.
Oh my goodness.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm just praying for her. I just keep praying for her. I can't take everybody in, but I can give them some food. There's about a week's worth of food in there, and and give them some toiletries so they can, brush their teeth and brush their hair and hopefully feel a little bit better about themselves for a little while.
So wonderful. That is wonderful. And I think, having a close family member that was in that position like you did puts a whole new perspective on seeing those signs, or seeing, because sometimes I can tell you, I get a little unnerved when I'm at a stop sign and people are holding a sign and approach my car. I get a little frightened. Unless I roll down the window and initiate it, it gives me a little heart thump, what are they getting ready to do, kind of thing.
I used to not look at that the same way as I do now, but after literally seeing that sign in your sister's belongings after she's gone and you can't help her, a lot of times you can tell. A lot of times they're wearing a backpack. You can look at their shoes. You can look at their coat or their hat. And you can look at their fingernails. I mean, there's so many signs. You can tell.
Right.
Mom and I can tell. I mean, we know. We can look at them. But we hand them the bags.
That's awesome.
My husband, we were in town, and he was getting his truck fixed. And so I brought one of the bags with me. And I wanted hubby to hand one out before we went and picked up his truck. And he saw one at Walmart, and we kind of passed too quickly, and he went back around. And as we were going back to line up with that guy, I saw another person sleeping there at Walmart on the ground. But we went ahead and gave it to the guy we intended to give it to, because that's what my husband saw. And I was going to let my husband do it, but it was on my side of the thing, and I handed it to him. and the guy was shaking. And then after we rode up the window, my husband said, "Oh, he was shaking. I think he was cold." And I said, "This is what we're going through. You know,
Right.
we're supposed to have sympathy for other people. And, you
Yeah.
know, after you get to a certain point, it's just hard for them. Like, they can't just take a bath and put on beautiful clothes and go get a job. That, you
Right.
know, they can't do that anymore. They probably insecure about how they look, and how, you know, the girls might be insecure because they don't have their makeup, their hair done, or their hair's not clean, their clothes aren't clean or nice, their shoes aren't clean, they don't have an address to give you. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that's
so
the
many
main
things
thing.
that
They don't have an
getting
address.
and getting jobs, and a lot of them we've also ran into are also mentally ill.
Right. Right.
But I'll be honest with you, we've went out 4 times and I've not been scared once.
Good. Hey, Crystal's place and my
We're
raindrop
not
guy.
actually going to camps. We're just have places we go to in town and stuff like that.
Well, I was very blessed to have been able to do that in New York City. I handed out some bags and things, some goodie bags, and it was, I got the blessing. I received a whole lot more than they did just by being able to meet each of them and shake their hands or give them a hug. It was tell them that the Lord loves them. It was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter for a while was having some regular visits in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at a major hospital up there for some neurological things. And they have quite a bit of homeless population there that hangs out around the hospital. So I would keep some little goodie bags in the car to be able to hand to them when I got to the stop sign, and which is awesome. You know, if you keep your window rolled up and you don't make eye contact, they don't come to you. But when you roll your window down and say, "Hey," then they're like, "Okay, great." And I'm not afraid of them then. It's just when they come up to the car when you
I really only had one that was a little bit sporadic, I would say. And I'm thinking she might have been the ones on drugs, but literally out of probably 80 people that we've reached so far, I would say that one girl might have been the only one I witnessed that I would say was on drugs.
Okay.
The rest of them were mentally ill or seniors.
Okay.
So
I can say that
please
about
take care of your mom and your dad and your grandma, you know, your family. Take care of your family. Take them in. I know it might be hard, but they took care of you.
Yeah, it
In
is.
the middle of the night when you were sick, they took care of you. It's your turn to take care of them. Honor thy father and mother. So that's what I think every time I go out with these people. I'm like, these are people's parents. I mean, I guess some of them might not have kids, but it's just, it makes me so sad.
It is sad to think that people, but you know, I have seen some other families that have some family members that makes it incredibly difficult to live with. And
My sister was one of them.
yeah, it's
And
tough.
our last transaction, the last time I saw her, you know, we were having a fight and she was acting weird because she was at that time on drugs.
Right.
And so I hate that because that's how she remembered me. But we did talk to some people and we found out some things about her that kind of made us feel a little bit better. But
well, that's nice, Alfonso. Yeah.
if you have to cross the road, if you don't drive, be careful. Be very careful.
Signs to be looking out for. That's right. That's right. Goodness gracious. We've been on here 2 hours, girly girl.
No, and I asked all the, you know, all the topics I wrote down. We've already covered those and then some more.
Fantastic.
If anyone does want to donate to the homeless ministry that my mom and I are doing, you could send a gift card to Walmart, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar. Those are all the only stores we have in our town, and I will purchase the items and I will thank you on the video and mention your name or not mention your name according to what you say. I also have an Amazon wish list for the homeless. and a
Right.
PayPal. If you want to donate, just say for Gretchen or for your sister or for the homeless.
Right.
And I will put that toward. And I have received 2 donations so far
That's
off of YouTube.
fantastic. And
Mhm.
it's such a worthy cause. Oh my
It
goodness,
is.
such a worthy cause.
It is. You should see the looks on their faces when you hand them the stuff. They're
It
just
is
so
it's
excited. It's
wonderful.
so
Just
special.
no
Filled
judgment.
love. Yeah.
Oh, Mandalee. I got to tell you real quick before we go, because this is a God
Mhm.
thing. My Aunt Peg, my Auntie Peg took me to New York City one Christmas. I've never been there before. And she took me and my sister and another cousin. So there were 3 of us that she took to New York City. It was gorgeous. We had a fabulous time. It was the week or 2 before Christmas. And I kept saying to the Lord, if I ever get a chance to go back, not thinking that I would ever go back to New York City in a million, not in my lifetime. If I ever get a chance to go back, I want to do something for the homeless. And no sooner that I said that, we got a phone call and they said, hey, this was in like March or something, really soon afterwards. We're going to New York. Don't you want to ride? I thought, oh no, I promised the Lord if I ever get back, I got to do something for the homeless.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
not thinking in a 100 million years that I would ever go back, but he has a sense of humor. And the Lord knows exactly what he's doing. So you better watch out what you ask for because you're likely to get it. And so I did make up those giveaway bags, and our church blessed the bag that they were in. So as I was walking around New York City carrying that bag, I felt like I had the Holy Spirit all with me the whole time and able
Yeah.
to hand them out. And I
That's a good
promise
idea.
you,
Pray over the bags. We do pray in the morning before we leave. We pray that we're going to reach the right people, that we'll find the right places and reach the right people
hey,
that
Sandy,
need. So we do say that prayer every day when we go.
that's
And we're
good.
planning another trip for April 25th will be our next trip out to donate bags to the homeless in
It's
my home.
expensive, you guys. I mean, just having 10 bags to try to have some toothpaste, a toothbrush, and some soap, not even shampoo, just soap, it's like $4 or $5 a bag, and you've got 10 bags. It's a lot of money. It was several $100s, and that was a number of years ago.
Mhm.
And things have gone up so much since then.
Yes. Well, when I found that the sale on the toothpaste for 25 cents at Dollar Tree, I bought like $20 worth.
Oh, good
And
for
so I had
you.
it for a while. And then I got a donation and I ordered a big, huge pack, 100 pack of toothbrushes. And that was an anonymous donation that I received from YouTube. And I purchased women's socks. And I mean, I got a lot of stuff out of that $100. So that
Oh
was
my
a
goodness.
donation.
That's fantastic. And they know when they give it to you that it's going to go in the right place because
Exactly. And I'll make a video and share. I like to share it. So as I get different donations, I'll share
there you
everything. And
go.
if I'm sales on stuff, I'll share that. And
That's
so
right.
I'm all about the sales.
Yep.
So you picked the right person for this because I coupon,
That's right.
I'm a bargain shopper, so I can find some deals on stuff. So
Yes, you're great at it. Oh my gosh. Coupon Gail.
yeah, I got like 6 or 7 free things last week just going to the store. I had to go to 2 different stores because some things are at Walmart and some things are at United, the other store. So
Oh my goodness, you're so amazing. I wish I haven't mastered that talent yet.
hello, bake with me, Miss Red. Hello, hello, welcome in.
Well,
So we are
kiddo,
going to
yeah.
end today's live. We've been on for 2 hours. I want to thank all of you guys for coming in, for watching my videos and coming into the live and supporting me. And if you're not friends with Anne, if you would click on the link in the description box, go by and check out her channel. Real sweet lady, does a lot of gardening, joins a lot of collabs, and
Yeah.
you will really enjoy her channel very much. So thank you, Anne, for coming on and
Thank you, Gail, for having me.
your gardening tips and talking about everything and catching up with you.
Yes, I really appreciate it. And you guys have a great night.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming in. I don't actually know how to.
There is a way to end it. You could push it.
I can see the end button, but I don't know how to click you out. Do you know how to click yourself out? I'm sorry, I'm doing this on the phone. I don't normally do, but thank you for coming in, Sandy. I see you come in.
Move from.
Okay, there you go. I knew how to click in the thing, but I didn't know how to do the other. But please go by and check out Garden State Gardener. He's doing a live with several guests tonight. Garden State Gardener giving away seeds. Please go by and check out that live. Thank you all for coming in. Bye, everybody.